G'day, my name is Mark and I have this massive Merbau pallet and I want to turn it into something cool, make some cash and somehow try to beat Morley Kurt and Jesper Makes at this pallet game. Morley took a pallet and added some steel legs and he flogged that off on Instagram. Jesper took his pallet, added a heap of epoxy, then he gave his creation away to his mother-in-law, and then someone bought it on the internet. Orkies. Now, I have this massive Merbau pallet, except I already know what I'm going to get paid. So I don't know what the competition is or how to beat these blokes. I think I just wanted to sneak in a cheeky rando shout out. Alrighty, back to how my story actually begins. And it did not start with this massive pallet. It began with these skateboards. Say yes to the right things and no to the wrong things. This, my friends, I hope was a right thing. Long story short, I was contacted by a potential customer if I could build a dining table out of recycled skateboards. I said, sorry, I simply don't have enough skateboards for that size project and I did not want to commit my precious supply. The customer came back to me and said, if I can get the skateboards, would you be interested? Me? Yeah, sure. If you can source them, I will make the table. I was quietly confident I wouldn't be making the table. Hi Mark, I've got the skateboards. Where would you like me to send them? Here we go. You know what looks pretty rad with broken skateboards? Dark timber. Dark palletwood timber. This is my last Palletosaurus Rex that my mate Big Dave Kelly found for me, and I'm putting it to use. Myself and the customer had the usual back and forth to come up with the basic design and dimensions, and I also got the green light to just be creative. I trust you. Happy days. Oh, and also nothing too chunky. Well back, I work with pallets. They have to be chunky. It needs chunky, rustic charm, don't they? I'm going to have to get my woodwork on to try some new things and meet the client brief. How can I de-chunkify this build? Taperization. That's how. I have never cut a tapered leg on a table ever. And it is not actually that hard to do, so I discovered. I took one of my straightening jigs, screwed on some tapering angles and stops, then simply cut two sides of each leg, do the same thing 4 times, and hey presto, taperization complete. Now, if you recall from my last video, I said I'm going full business human. I'm going to get more smarter and get much better at running my side hustle like a business, building a backup plan. I'm tracking the time spent on the build, calculating the cost, and then I can come up with an hourly rate. Straight up, I had to buy a sheet of plywood. There goes $100. No matter, plenty left for my wallet. The table will have 2 semicircle ends, and I know from my design in my brain that I'll need to cut many a semicircle, so I had to whip up a new circle cutting jig, an adjustable one. Now, just like pallets, recycled skateboards need a lot of preparation to turn them into usable timber. In my brain, I know I need some stock for the edge of the table and a heap of stock for whatever the pattern is going to be, which I have not yet settled on. So while all this de-gripping, sanding, laminating, jointing, planing, sawing, re-sawing and replaning is going on, I've been tuning into a couple of my favourite recycled skateboard YouTube craftsmen, which is none other than Andrew Zito and Ben from Woby Design. I spotted this particular design by Ben and I loved how the skateboard looked like they had been woven. And then I was staring at this chair and I realised it is woven. Or is it just a herringbone? Nope, it is woven. I am going to weave these skateboards. I now truly understand the wool. You got to celebrate as you go. Woo! A while back I sold my bandsaw and I have no regrets. However, I do have to work within the limits of my machines. Height of the table saw blade is the main limitation. You also have a lot more waste with table saw blades as opposed to a bandsaw blade, which when the resource is finite, that can be an issue. No regrets. This is my pony press. I used to have a big steel hydraulic press, but it took up valuable space and I did not use it very often. These sash clamps with their 7,000 pounds of clamping pressure do an unreal job and I achieve as good results. In fact, they are so tough, something inside of you will probably go pop before they do. Bottle of Tight Bond, there goes another 70 bucks. She'll be right. In Ben's latest video, he makes a circular table and cuts the edge capping with the CNC. I don't have a CNC, so I've come up with another way, a way I lost many hours of sleep over. Okay, let me bring in for a live update. So I've made this segmented ring. This is gonna prove the concept before I use the skateboards and make a meal of it. So I need to cut the corresponding curve of the circle, which using my center hole and then just dragging the route a bit to the inner edge cut, then in theory, this arc should fit perfectly onto that semicircle. Can you hear my brain thinking? Neither can I. Let's give it a bash. Then, when I watch Ben's video, right at the end, he explains how he could have just made a segmented circle and cut it with a router. So I reached out to him to let him know that I'm not knocking off his good ideas. I have the bags under my eyes to prove it. I am, however, plagiarizing a few woos in this video. For no other reason than it always makes me smile when I see him punch out a few celebration woos or two. Okay, so I have now got two semicircles, making shit up as you go, although I have lost a lot of sleep over this. Not gonna lie, a little bit nervous. I left myself a note last night to cut the outside first. If I cut the inside, there's nothing for this thing to actually sit on top of. I'm all chopped up in the middle. A couple of little glue blocks that'll let the clamps stay out of the way so my jig has all the space it needs. Gonna stop rambling, just gonna have a crack. I've just got to double check. Safe to say, I was very happy that these semicircles are cut perfectly. There was no backup stock. In fact, the backup plan would have had to have been solid timber, but the customer "I trust you" clause was at the forefront of my mind. Enough rambling. I am very happy with this. I have the 80 hardware sections of skateboards, which again needs a fair bit of persuasion to get them laminated together, which has worked a treat and will give me more rainbow stock that I can use for the edge capping later. Again, I have to work within the limits of the table saw to get these squared up. The jointer and the thickness of planer would blow them up. Oh, check out those offcuts. I think I can use those as well a bit later on. License to go nuts. I mean, be creative. It is time to get my stock squared up and dimensioned to the exact size in which length equals 2 times the width. Maths. A rectangle. I need lots of rectangles that fit together and are the perfect size, no matter which way you put them. You'll see soon. Trust me. This is my thin strip jig, a nice, safe way to cut very thin pieces and have them all the exact same width. It is slow going, but well worth the effort. Let me start to weave these broken skateboards. Now I understand that this may look like a herringbone, but stick with me. I have got 5 different color arrangements of skateboard, and as long as I stick to the pattern, you'll start to see the weave. I did a fair bit of double checking to make sure the pattern worked and you could get a continuous run of under and over from the different color variants. Simple, but pretty bloody effective. The beauty of lamination or veneering on top of plywood is, firstly, it is very stable, no stressing about timber movement. Secondly, you can make a little bit of stock go a very long way. Veneering is a beautiful thing. And if you can't get hold of broken skateboards, you can use pallets. And if you're going to ask me where to get broken skateboards, there is a video down below by Ben. Let's take a little break from the skateboards and get going on the frame. I've got my legs sorted from the Merbau pallet. Now I'm cleaning up this reclaimed decking for the underside framework. I'm laminating 2 boards together for strength and chunkiness. No one will know. And I also want to add a little accent with these offcuts, plus a roundover, which looks pretty groovy and less chunky. It is time to start to bring all this action together with my favourite type of woodworking, tight bond and clamps. Great things can happen when you glue wood together. Bust out the belt sander and a roundover on the edges. Happy days. The legs will need to be detachable so the table can be transported. So I need to get a little more woodworky, and I've rigged up this little jig to take off a little material across the 45 of the leg. I'll use the same jig later on to drill the holes, which will then let me thread in the bolts as a means of attachment and detachment. These little 45-degree corner brackets provide the opposing force for the leg to be pulled in nice and square. With all the pieces now made, I can start to assemble. I went and purchased a larger roundover bit. The little one was not quite right. We won't take that out of profits. Now, I did promise I'll share my money-making extravaganza and lessons learnt in my latest video. The obvious lesson for me is, do you know that part of your body that looks like a rusty bullet hole? Don't pluck a figure out of there. When quoting, take a bit of time and try and work it out. Anyway, as you know, I'll be paid $1,000 for this piece. I have spent about $200 on plywood, tight bond, finish and hardware, and I have spent about 20 hours making this project. So on the net, that's about $40 an hour, and I still have to pay the tax man. The question is, did I say yes to the right thing? And did I get smarter at being a business human? Yes. Yes, I did. I am very happy with the side hustle profit level. I would not want to run a full-time business with that level of profit. What this project did do for me is establish what 20 hours of pretty full-on work looked like, and that'll be a great reference point for me in the future when I start to get a little more serious about quoting. I have also still got heaps of potential revenue sources from the leftover skateboard offcuts, noses and tails, and these little tiles. They will make a couple of magic mallet handles. Said yes to the right things. I also have 2 large offcuts of ply and almost half a bottle of glue, which means I'm ready to go to make something similar if I want. With that considered, it actually bumps my profit back up to about 900 kangaroo. Finally, did I beat Morley Kurt and Jesper Makes? I don't know, maybe. I guess if you watch this video over and over or share it with as many friends as possible, then maybe I will. Or maybe I'll come a little bit closer. Okay, catch you later.